The Users and Permissions is an optional module that can be purchased from KeepTrack. When this module is turned on, each time the program is started, a screen pops up asking the username and password of the person opening the program. Based on that login, you can assign different permissions and restrictions for each user in the program. For example, you could allow one user to be administrator when they log on. An administrator would have permissions to do everything in the program with no restrictions. Another person could be classified as a user. They will have the permissions and restrictions decided for by the administrator. For example, they may only have permission to make work orders and nothing else. This module is especially useful for companies having multiple computers running KeepTrack. We also recommend you look in our Maintenance Request and Logs section and view the video on the special G user. This is useful for a very limited access to make work orders and only fill out the author and the problem and what the item is to be repaired. The Users and Permissions is function-driven, not data-driven. What this means is you can determine what actions a user can or cannot do. For example, if someone is allowed to edit a work request, they could edit any work request. If the user is not allowed to edit work requests, they cannot edit any work request. This will be the same no matter what computer they log in on. When Users and Permissions is activated and KeepTrack is open, the form will appear asking for a username and a password. Upon successful completion, the program opens and the user has only the permissions and restrictions set by the administrator of KeepTrack. When that user closes KeepTrack and a new user logs on, they will have the permissions and restrictions that apply to that login. Also, only an administrator can enter the Users and Permissions module to make changes. Special note: write down and save your username and password if you are an administrator. Starting in 2020, the usernames and passwords are encrypted in KeepTrack, so we cannot look in the tables and retrieve them for you like we used to be able to. To open Users and Permissions, click the button at the top of the form in Administration. First, you will add an administrator. An administrator is someone who will have no restrictions in the KeepTrack program. Just select Add Administrator and select from the drop-down the person who will be an administrator. Enter the username that you'd like to have, their password, and verify the password, and then click Enter, Save Changes. To add a user, open Users and Permissions, click Add User, and select the person from the drop-down that you would like to add. Enter a username and password for them, and re-enter the password to verify. Now when we click Enter, a form opens below, and you can select what they can or cannot do in the KeepTrack program. For instance, in the catalog, currently the default is to allow all. You could click Allow Selected and decide that this person could say not delete items from the catalog or rename. Just scroll down the options and select or deselect what you want them to be able to do or not do. When done, just click Save Changes, and you will get a message your entries have been saved. To turn Users and Permissions on and off, just click this button, and it will change. Note, this changes for all computers connected to the database using the KeepTrack program. You cannot turn on or off one computer. If you turn it on, it is on for everybody. If you turn it off, it is off for everybody.